The clock strikes 12, I step into the haze. Whispers call me from 1,000 graves. Shadows dance in corners out of sight. I chase the unknown deep into the night. I hunt the fear you dare not face. In the darkness I embrace the trace. The dead, they speak their secrets shown. Welcome to the bizarre and the unknown. A flicker, a chill, a shadowed hand. The unseen lingers where I stand. Through creaking doors and empty halls, I hear the echoes of forgotten calls. I hunt the fear you dare not face. In the darkness I embrace the trace. The dead, they speak their secrets shown. Welcome to the bizarre and the unknown. And the eyes that watch from a place unreal, a touch so cold it makes you feel they're near but hidden, veiled in shade. I walk with ghosts I hunt the fear you dare not face. In the darkness I embrace the trace. The dead, they speak their secrets shown. Welcome to the bizarre and the unknown.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Campfire Chats with Eric and guest. I'm your host, E.D. Testerman. Sorry about the late start today. I literally been on my computer most of the day, stepped away for about an hour, and then all of a sudden it wouldn't let me do anything on my computer until I'd done an update, and it took a long time to do the update. So I apologize for that. I'm glad y'all hung in, waited for everything to work, and we're rolling. A couple little updates. I am not sure that I will be going live tomorrow. I have to go to Jeff City for schooling to get my aggregate certification. I'm going to still try if I can get set up at the hotel in time. I'm going to try to go live tomorrow. They'll probably just be us BSing around because I won't have my main computer. I'll be on my laptop. But that being said, I won't be on William's show tomorrow morning because I will be driving. I'll try to be listening in, long as I can keep good enough signal on the cell phone while I'm heading up to Jeff City. The biggest trick the devil did was to convince people his wiener here. Uh, so main house, I'm the paving inspector for Greene County, Missouri. So Agger gets what we use in our paving. So I got my bituminous certification, which is the science side of it. You know, the labs, nuclear density tester, and all that. I got that certification. So the last one I got to get's my aggregate certification, and these are the two certifications I got to have for this promotion. So yeah, that's what it is. It all deals with paving. So we've been busy. I mean, I pulled 11 and a half hours of overtime last pay period. I'm already sitting on an hour overtime this period, possibly looking at another 10 plus more by the end of the week, because they're going to be paving, micro sealing while I'm gone Monday. And then they're planning on starting either Wednesday or Thursday. So I'll be coming back Wednesday. If push comes to shove and they're still going, I'll relieve my the guy that's replacing me while I'm gone. I'll relieve him and be working, and then not counting Thursday as well, and possibly even Friday. So yeah, it's going to be a busy week. Bobby, thank you for the super chat. You're badass, dude. $5 from Bobby saying great show this morning with William. Absolutely. I love going on live with William. I really, really do. You know, we may not always see eye to eye on everything, but we have such a great, chemistry, great minds. I love being on there with Brother William. So, and it was a good show. If you guys missed it, hey, Christopher. Roxanne says, I remember putting 22 hours overtime a week for 6 months. Yeah. This is the busy season for me because we're literally slinging hot mix and pressure pave micro seal. So, I mean, I'm going to be pulling a lot of hours. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But so yeah, I got to get this last of the certification out of the way. So that's why I'm going back up. I kind of messed up a couple of weeks ago and had my hotel dates and my school dates wrong. So I had to reschedule my schooling. That's why I'm going up this weekend. You was lurking. With that being said, I do have a bit of sad news. We lost a member of the family a couple days ago. You've seen her on with me quite often. Sadly, I wasn't able to get back to her to nurse her back, and we lost her 3:00 the other morning. And we lost Aurora Kitty, the one that always was hugging on me and laying on my shoulder. The gray and dark gray striped cat that we had, Aurora. We've had her for a long time. We've had her about 10 plus years. We lost her. So it broke my heart the other day. Happened to Wednesday night when I got off of work. I had to come home and finish digging a hole to bury Aurora. So she is buried out. I just want to let you guys know we did lose a member. It's going to suck not having her around. I mean, it sucks. She was a big part of our life for many, many, many years. And she was my youngest daughter's cat, one of my youngest daughter's cat. And me and Aurora, I mean, you guys have seen it. Me and Aurora had a very, very close connection with each other. I felt she was just as much as my cat as she was my daughter's, even though she was my daughter's, because she would sleep with me all the time. She liked to sleep under the covers, and she wouldn't have to lay on my arm. And there's times that she'd be napping and have to have her paw in my hand. I mean, she was a big part of my life. Baby Kitty, I nursed her back, and she went back outside, and I've seen her once since she's been nursed back. So I'm hoping she's still kicking around. But whatever's hitting these cats is it's knocking them down quick. And sadly, I wasn't able to, help Aurora Kitty snap out of it. So I appreciate you guys, saying you're sorry. So sadly, from this day forward, Aurora Kitty will no longer be gracing us with her presence on the show. So it's been a little rough here for a few days. I try to laugh it off and joke around because I try not to live with that pain, but it still sucks, you know. So I just wanted to give you guys that little bit. So if you guys in the future, that's why you will not be seeing her no more. So, you know, hearts out to Aurora Kitty. She's going to be missed greatly. So with that, all that news set aside, has anybody had any experiences or encounters? Thank you, Twisted. Appreciate that. Anything they'd like to share on the show? Um, I was trying to remember. I think I've shared everything that's happened here lately, but this show is mainly to hear what you guys have got to share. So if there's something you haven't shared or something you've experienced in a week, if you want to come on live, I'll bring you on live. You just want to talk about it in chat, we'll talk about it in chat. But this is a show for you to share your encounters. So I welcome them, and I'm hoping to hear from you guys soon. Just a weird neighbor as usual, yeah. You need educated on shadow people. I am still learning a lot on shadow people too. Twisted. There is so much around shadow people that I think quite a bit of it is a misidentification versus true shadow people and what we like to call shadow people quite often. Well, that little super sticker hasn't never popped down yet. There must be something. First, it was the codes, and now it's not. That's only supposed to stay up for about 5 seconds. So I'll have to work on that later. But what? So I mean, that's the thing. So generally, hey, Bounty, shadow people. I've seen shadow people while doing a paranormal investigation, and it wasn't something supernatural. It was just a partial manifestation of a ghost. Then you got your true shadow people, which in some instances, you they are malicious. In some instances, they're not. And that's why I think there's probably a difference between them. And so, I mean, I'm still learning that a lot myself. Roxanne says, "Do you believe Gugwe can be weaponized like bow and arrows and spears?" Man, hey, Muriel, that's a good question. It's definitely possible, especially if you catch one young enough that you can manipulate. But as mean and as ferocious and as wild as they are, um, would they be more like a dog man and uncontrollable? I think that's probably going to be the case with them. So I think it's probably unlikely that they can. Doesn't mean they haven't tried or haven't been successful to a degree. Can shadow people hurt you? True shadow people, I wouldn't say could. I think more the ones that's malicious are the ones that's supernatural, like evil spirits. Um, I would say that would probably be a more likely scenario. What is your problem, Lackey? You don't want to be on me until I come live. Are you becoming an internet hog? Huh? You know I'm on live, so now you got to be up in my lap. I would say that's probably the case, but I don't. I mean, I could be wrong on that. I think the shadow people that are malicious and can hurt you are more of what we'd call demons nowadays. Evil spirits. I mean, just evil spirits, in all honesty. There you go. William says, just got done debunking the cryptid picture and posted it on my Facebook. Sorry, living and no worries. I'm kind of late start too because of having internet issues, computer issues. I decided to want to update before I went live, and it wouldn't let me do anything until updated. And Muriel says, "What if shadow people are just projected shadows? They just don't look like us." Well, in some aspects, I can see where some of the instances that's probably the way it is, and I think but there's too many reports of them interacting, good ways and bad ways with people. So I don't know on that. I believe some of the cases that could be that could be. Just not all of them. Roxanne says, "My old man comes to me shadow like." See, and there's a partial. That's the prime example what I was talking about earlier. Most of the shadow people I've seen have been a partial, full body apparition. They just appear as a shadowy figure. Now, what's interesting is when it comes to that aspect of it, I've seen both the black shadow and the white shadow when it comes to the paranormal side of these. Bobby says they'll give you a heart attack the first time. I bet. Ursula says they can jump into you if you'd consider that possibility to harm. Just depends on their coincidence. And that's what I was kind of talking about earlier when it comes to the evil ones. The evil ones that they do that type of stuff. And is that a true shadow person or is that something else? Twisted says, I just don't know about shadow people. Yeah, I'm still learning a lot on there myself. William says the elders used to say that they are from the negative realm. See, there you go. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, was we get too many things called shadow people. I think it's been a misidentification. There is some that is harmful and there's some that's not. And I think the harmful ones are, like I say, they were the evil spirits. They can harm you by your responsive actions indirectly. Yeah. So that fits in well with what I was talking about. Whenever I see a shadow person doing a paranormal investigation, and I don't call them a shadow person, it's a partial full body apparition. I don't classify them as a shadow people because they're not. They're partially manifesting. So, I think we need to stop putting everything into one category when they're clearly not the same category. We do that with a big W. We do that with SWs. We do that with shadow people. We do that with other cryptids. We do that with everything else. And we got to stop doing that because we're doing the community and the world a disservice by doing that. That's why I think it's very important, like we was talking this morning. A lot of people call the watchers fallen angels when they're not fallen. They're the watchers. The fallen are the 1/3 that rebelled against God and were cast out of heaven. They're still angels. They still have their power. They still have their ranking. They're still angels. That's why they called them fallen angels. They're just not angels in heaven anymore. And Mario says they are probably so solo vibe that they can't gather enough energy to fully manifest physically. Yes. It takes people don't understand. That's why full body apparitions are extremely rare. It takes a lot of energy for them to be able to fully manifest. That's why you get orbs or you get partial manifestations because the amount of energy it takes to become fully manifest. And a lot of times when you're talking about possessions, ghost ain't going to possess you. What's going to possess you is something evil. Evil will possess you. Ursula says watchers are a different breed set aside from angels and all others. No, they're angels. Watchers are absolutely, it's clearly stated in there. Watchers are angels. They were sent to earth to watch over the people. They just went against God's law. And that's why they were cursed, no longer allowed to be in heaven. Bounty, the shadow people I've encountered so far, just watch and peek. It's human from darker than dark color. If that's shadow person, I've seen other types of shadow things too. We need clear definitions. And that's where I think you may be seeing, and I could be wrong. I'm not telling you this is fact. I'm an outsider listening to your deal. If they're doing that type of stuff, I'd put that more in the realm of partial manifestation. Some can, and that's what I think the true shadow people are, Roxanne. Or she says some shadow people can be evil. I think the evil ones are the true shadow people. The ones that are evil and do malicious stuff. I believe those are the true shadow people. I could be wrong. That's just my thinking on that. We have twisted. We have done shows on shadow people a few times. Bounty says I've seen a lot of forms of color, shadows, all the way to white with white smoke. Yeah, I've seen gray, white, black, and like I said, I don't believe those are shadow people. I believe those are partial manifestations. Emilio says monitoring spirits for observation proposes reports back to whom sent them. I'd say regarding shadow people, possible. William says there's still watcher angelic entities today assigned to watching humanity. We have guardians, yes. Are they classified as watchers? I don't know. But we do have guardian angels that's sent to protect us and to aid us in our needs. Is it the same thing? I don't know. I can't give you a good answer on that. To me personally, I would classify that as something else. That's just me. Watchers are still here. They were never allowed to go back to heaven. They were bound here in a what was it, a rocky form? I have to go back and read. I can't remember that part because part of me says rocky form, but I'm also like, I think I might be wrong on that. I need to double check that. They're bound to here. They're just imprisoned. That's the watchers are imprisoned, except for the one that was allowed to return. So yeah. Um, Bounty says I've also seen different shapes, so it complicated to figure out. That still could be a part of that partial manifestation. Yeah, I can see that. Because I've seen that too, where you can tell it's something shadowy. It doesn't look like a human, but it's not an object either. You can clearly see it move. Once again, I believe that probably be a partial manifestation. Could be wrong though. When I was on the I saw shadow people all the time. Time next month, 24 years off. Don't see them that often, every once in a blue moon. And that could be a side effect of that certain ordeal. And it could just open your eyes up too. I mean, it's half a dozen one, half a dozen the other on that one. Roxanne says, "What about the timers? A lot of shadow people, but looks like they're trying to escape from something." Um, you would actually be surprised how many times I've been on dealing with paranormal, and there was something stronger there. It could be called many different things. Usually when you're dealing with a haunted place, there's usually an alpha and a beta, and those two there are the ones that control all the spirits in that area. Some instances that can be just a stronger ghost. In other instances, something demonic is doing it. So if you're watching something trying to escape, you actually could be dealing with a haunting that has an alpha and a beta spirit, or alpha and beta supernatural entity, and they're trying to get away from that. If you watch the Indian Point investigation that I did, that ridge that was never meant to be, it just happened. That is a prime example where we're dealing with something like that. There, you literally during that video hear us interacting with that and forcing that old man and that old lady to leave this little girl and these others alone because they were suppressing them. If you guys haven't seen it, it's on my list. It's Indian Point investigation. Um, Prime example of it. I mean, that literally was what we was dealing with during that ordeal. Roxanne says, "What about the timers? A lot of shadow people show up, but looks like they're trying to escape." Oh, that's the one I just read. A little twisted said, I see them in the corner of my eyes, but gone when looked directly. That happens a crap ton of times. More times than not, that is a very common experience that you have when you hear about encounters of shadow people. Yeah. And that could be everything we've talked about could still fit in that category. Is it a true shadow person or is it an apparition? That happens, I would say, a good 90% of the time you have an encounter with one. William says, we have 12 watchers, one for each gateway in the book of Enoch and the other ancient text. I forgot about that. Good point. Yes. Yes, I forgot about that. Jonas, I'd never seen the Hat Man. My friend in Australia is haunted by him. I've never seen the Hat Man either. I'm wondering if that's a similar supernatural entity of what we call shadow person or not. It's curious. William says the real watchers don't interact with humans because of the fallen angels. That definitely could be. Jonaside says, I think the M pulls you into a negative mind, such as space. So, yeah, likely I would say you're probably right. Or it's just because of the chemical alteration in your brain, you think you're seeing it and you're not. That can also be a possibility. Would I say that's every single time? No, I wouldn't say that was every single time. I say at least some of the times you were actually seeing something. Ursa says, I saw a black dark paper cut out like of a person in broad daylight in Food Lion parking lot. It moved trying to make our pass meet, but I outmaneuvered it. Hey, Poncho, that's wicked. I'd say you're dealing with something supernatural there, definitely. Bounty says, yes, some sneak walk around hiding from other things. Yeah. Kind of like they're observing. Miro says, would you agree they are feeding off the negative energy of the individual or the place residual energies? The true shadow people, the negative entities, absolutely. 100%. I'd agree with that 100%. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Twisted. Only 12 now, was 13 back under the correct systems. Yeah, remember one was allowed to go back to heaven. Same as 8 colors. Yeah. William says, man, we have the greatest chat family yet. Yeah. Yeah, we really do, William. I'm truly blessed, truly blessed by my subscribers. I'm so very thankful for them because there is. Poncho, can we stop portraying Bigfoot as a scary beast? He's just a big old teddy bear. Honestly, I think the true Bigfoot, Shiatonka, Sasquatch, I believe you're right. They just don't want to be messed with. I believe they get aggressive when pushed to it, but I believe there's other things that we misidentify as Bigfoot that's not Bigfoot. I mean, look at Gugwe. Gugwe is a type of Bigfoot. I'll give you that, but it's not. I don't think it's a Bigfoot in true essence as Bigfoot, if that makes sense. Bounty, what guards chain things? Really depends. It really depends. Muriel says, yeah, the Watchers are not supposed to mingle with humanity at all. It's a fixed frequency. And that's why they got banned and imprisoned. And Muriel, that's why the Watchers got imprisoned, because they broke God's law. God's law was they were not supposed to interact with us. They were supposed to watch over us. And they breeded with humans and taught us magic and weaponry and a bunch of stuff. And from them became what the Hebrews call Nephilim, which means giants. From them came giants. And look what happened. Yeah. There's a says we have 7 colors, but the boundary color is missing. I didn't know that. Hell yeah, Gen Xer. Bobby says I was haunted by shadow people as a child. So what was the interaction with them like, Bobby? I'm kind of curious on that. Okay, I think I'm caught up. Hey, Candy. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious because I'm wondering if you're dealing with a spirit or if you're dealing with something supernatural. Mero says, not like God didn't want us to know these things, just not at the time our 3D limited minds can handle such a I can see that because I've always had an issue with all this stuff that was exposed to us that doomed us. Why God wouldn't want us to know that? I can see that being a possibility of reason why He didn't. But I've always took issue with that. If God is loving and loves us so much, then why would He forbid us to have knowledge of things? William, a lot of people would say you can't talk to ghosts. It says it in the Bible. I don't believe that. If that was true, then why do we have the gift of discernment where we can see these things and interact these things if we weren't allowed to do it? William says the seraphim bounty in the Bible biblical context with their Pharisees look and sword, uh, with their fiery look and sword. The seraphim bounty in the biblical context with their fiery look and sword. Hmm. Ah, damn it. And there it goes. My vision crap. Well, no problem. Um, I am Wessel. um, yeah. I've always took issue with that because I've had so many Christians like you're going against God's word by interacting with these ghosts and these spirits. No, I'm not. God literally gave every single one of us the gift of discernment, and the gift of discernment deals with dealing with that, seeing them and interacting with them. So if we're not supposed to, why would He give us a gift that is meant for that? I believe that is either a misinterpretation of the text, or B, deliberately altered so that we don't do that. Bounty says it fits. I need to research them more now. Yeah. Ursula says you butchered the Wessel. And Muriel says everything has happened at its appointed time. Possibly not everything can handle knowledge. Not many know how to use power properly. Yeah. Seraphim is the top of the celestial hierarchy. They surround God's throne. Yes. I'm watching Cow and Chicken. Remember the I Am Wessel cartoon? No, I don't. I never watched that, but I remember people talking about it. Hey, Don. Don says I've found that if you tell shadow people to leave, they will leave. Yes, that happens quite often. Yeah. Bobby says it started watching from the end of the hall, then my bedroom door. Then I would wake up around 3 in the morning with its inches from my face. Then it would slowly leave my bedroom. I think you're dealing with something supernatural on that aspect, Bobby. I think you may be dealing with a true type of shadow person. Not saying that a ghost wouldn't be doing that. And it could be because it's trying to watch to see what type of person you are. Well, it could be paranormal. Has it done anything evil to you, Bobby? Anything mean um, or bad? My youngest must be here getting more stuff. She's moving in with my brother close to her new job. Chimera's outside because she didn't come in. She's barking, so I'd say yes, she's probably coming down the drive. I may have to let Chimera in so she'll quit barking. Um, man, yeah, that still could go either way on that. The more I think about it, Muriel says the thing is, wicked people still are able to get power, and they definitely do not use it properly. Correct. That's why I tell people all the time is like I can help you get rid of these ghosts in your homes if you give me permission to. If you don't, I have no power in your home. The person who owns the home has the power. They're the ones that have the power. And even if you give me permission to do it, my power is not nearly as strong as yours. But when it comes to trying to remove these things from your home, it's better to have the homeowner there and me telling them what to do than it would be for me just doing it. Now, it works better if I'm doing it and homeowners there as well, but nothing works as good as the homeowner because that's your home. You have the power of that home. And according to God's law, they have to obey. Even demons, even fallen, they have to obey God's law. Bounty says, okay, if he guards the throne, then he wouldn't be here. He could come down in God's request for one reason or the other. Mercer says, Thursday 14th, I was sitting here watching TV and a video was about 8 p.m. or so. Then I was waking up the next morning at 6 a.m. Did you pass out or what happened? Bobby says we moved when I was 11. Haven't bothered me since. Oh, it was probably paranormal then, Bobby. William says eyesight problem, brother. I'll be listening till I can see again. No worries, bro. Muriel says consistent and powerful. Disrespecting free will is also a violation. Yes. I'm not seeing my youngest. Guys, give me a second. I'm going to have to let Chimera in so she quit barking. I'll be right back. Watch out. More. What are you jumping for? Yeah. Oh, she was barking because she wanted in. One comes in, another one goes out. Sorry about that, guy. All right, guys. Ursa says, one of those times I'm doing something, then wake up late. I don't recall getting under covers or any of that. Just watching. Yeah, so you got missing time. I mean, that could be contributed to a lot of stuff. Not every time is missing time dealing with aliens or paranormal or supernatural. Sometimes it's my brain will do that. Like I have restless brain syndrome, so I have a very hard time sleeping. Very hard time getting to sleep. And there'll be so many times that my body is just so exhausted that I don't recall what happened the last 12 hours. But that's not saying that's what happens every single time. There's absolutely times dealing with missing time that it is, something supernatural or alien related. I was, with not me not being there, I can't give you a good answer on what that was. It's going to be one of those three possibilities. It has happened to me. Now, there's times that I fell asleep and I didn't know I fell asleep, and I would fall asleep in Stratford, and somehow I made every single turn, gravel road, asphalt, every curve, everything, and somehow woke up in my in my driveway at my house. I was just so tired that I fell asleep without realizing I fell asleep. And a lot of brain trauma can cause that too. If you have had a lot of brain trauma, that can cause missing time as well. William says, sometimes I suffer from missing brain syndrome. Hell yeah, man. Muriel says, yeah, my mind goes 1,000 miles an hour and I replay situations, convos from a week ago before. Oh, man, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know how many times I've laid in bed and I still replayed not saying goodbye to Cheryl before she left and wondering if, this is a bad dream and when I'm going to wake up. I mean, or I've thought about work or I've thought about this or I've thought about that. I mean, that literally is what happens in my mind like every single time. It doesn't happen a lot, just every now and then. Yeah. And if you had a lot of trauma, blows to the head and stuff like that, that can also cause it. Muriel says, sometimes I long for a little bit of missing brains. And yeah, no kidding. Muriel says, considering and everything. Yeah, I get that, man. Yeah. That's why I like broccoli. Broccoli helps me to sleep, but I can't take it because of work, of my job. Being I work for a county government, I can't take it. Tristan says I had missing time at Bigfoot at a Bigfoot encounter. And there's some people who claim that. Some people have. Could that be your fear? Could it be the shock of seeing it? Could it be it? And it could be one of those three things. William says, I know what you mean, Amiro. Yeah. Twisted says, I don't know if it was the trauma or what. Yeah. I mean, it definitely could be one of those things. Absolutely. Brian Burial says, broccoli takes away my dreams, though. It doesn't with me. Hey, Jessica. So, with the constant pain I live in every day, my restless brain syndrome, and all that, broccoli very much helps that. I don't do like a bunch of it, just a couple hits, 30 minutes before bed. I'm good. I can go to sleep. And I've not slept good since July of 2017. And that's when I came to work for the county entity that I work for now. I had to give that up to go to work there. And I had a choice back then. Do I want to partake in broccoli or do I want to earn a paycheck and 3 retirements? And I was like, you had to weigh the pros and cons. And for me, the pros of getting this job outweighed the pros of partaking of broccoli. So I gave that up back in 2017 so that I can work where I'm at now. Almost 9 years later, I went from being a seasonal to now I'm the paving inspector for that county. Jonas Side says, I smoke, I dream, but helps with pain. Yes, it absolutely does. Absolutely does. It helps with depression and everything. That's why I did that. I got myself off of antipsychotics and antidepressants by using it. That's how I got off of it. I'm not going to say it works for everybody. I am not a doctor, YouTube, so don't ding me. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm giving you personal experience. You can fact check it all you want. Unless you're me, you don't know. For me, this is what it did. So, and I did. I consciously made that decision to make that up, even all the medical benefits I got from it, to the point where when I retire, basically I'll have 5 retirements. 3 from the place I work at, plus my VA disability, plus I'll be able to file for Social Security disability. So when I retire, I literally will have 5 retirements. That outweighed the benefits of broccoli for me. I cannot take that stuffed Joan aside because we were told we cannot do that. So I can't take it because there's too much of a chance of popping dirty. So they don't even allow us to do the CBD gummies. Even though it's legalized, even though I can get a doctor's deal, I'm still not allowed to do that with my job. So, but I've known people that stuff didn't work on them either. So, I mean, although that has been very few and far in between, there has been people that said it. Are they telling me the truth and it didn't actually work for them? That's possible. Or were they telling the truth? That's also possible. I don't know. I'm not them. So I can't say yay or nay on that because I'm not them. They can't stop Darwin's advice. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, dude, Don, that sucks. Yeah, that sucks big time. My body's literally riddled with arthritis. I spent my whole life farming, fighting, mechanicking, military, road construction. That's what I've done my whole life. My body's literally riddled with arthritis. I mean, I spent 13 years jumping out of helicopters. My back's jacked, my knees are jacked, my feet's jacked, my elbows are jacked, my shoulders are jacked, my neck's jacked, my wrists are jacked, my hands are jacked. I mean, my whole body's jacked. I live in constant pain. I'm not going to say there wasn't times I wanted to escape that pain by a certain method, but I'm a dad, and that's not in the cards for me because I'm a parent. So I found other means. For me personally, broccoli was that means. Now that I can't do it, I've had to find ways of dealing and coping with my pain. Is there days that pain is more and it's hard to deal with? Yes, there's days that my pain gets that bad. And now on top of that, I also live with gout. I've lived with gout since I was 28. And if anybody doesn't know anything about gout, that's some of the worst pain you ever. I've been shot. I've been stabbed. I've been hit by a car. I fell out of helicopters. I fell off of cliffs. I mean, I've had so much crap done. Kicked by bulls, horses. I mean, I've had so much crap, and nothing compares to gout when it comes to pain. We are like the old Steve Austin, except he got fixed. We are just the rejects. Yeah, no kidding. Don says, if I ever woke up not in pain, I would think, yeah, no kidding, dude. Yeah, no kidding on that. There's a lot of times this fake laugh and this fake smile is hiding something because I'm in so much pain or I'm in so much depression. I mask it with laughter and with jokes and making people laugh and helping people through things. That's how I cope with it. We are the unbionic man. Yeah, no kid, dude. 100. Yeah. I'm not the $1 million man. I'm the negative $10 million man. I rode bucking horses, then had a stroke. So I hear you. Yeah. I mean, I've rode bulls. I've done my fair share of marking stalls, pulling calves, pulling piglets. I've done it. I love farming. I love farming. I mean, I've been pinned under tractor trailers. I've had them, I've had it all done to me and I'm still walking. That is a healthy chopping strategy or coping strategy. Yeah, it is, man. Did Israel get nuked? Reported huge mushroom cloud. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the news. So I have no clue what's going on over there. The news is 99.99% fake, so I don't ever watch it. And I don't care what anybody thinks. That's my opinion on the news. That's why I don't watch it. If anything comes out, I usually wait 2 or 3 days before I talk about it because a lot of times a lot of other stuff comes out during that 2 or 3 or that 3+ days that you go, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So that's just my opinion. I don't watch it because I don't believe in it. They've lost that trust from me. We'd be over in a big kid litter box, and we'd have news people come up to us, and I didn't want to talk to them because I knew exactly what they were going to do, even when I was over there. Luckily, back then, I had the perfect scapegoat. I am not. Uh, I am not. Hey, Tyler, I'm not qualified to answer that, but I can send you to a higher ranking personnel that can answer that question for you. And I would send them to my higher ups so I didn't have to talk to them. Jonaside says, I've been in pain all my life. I just know it's a fact of life and keep on going. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. So um sorry, I'm keeping an eye out for my daughter. Um and that's the thing, in the Marines we always say pain is weakness leaving the body. Okay. I know I'm still alive because I feel pain. That's a gloomy way of looking at it, but it's true, it is. So I mean, I'm constantly getting weakness out of my body every single day. So, a little bit of news. Financially, it's going to suck, but I did get me another vehicle. Um, Payments are going to kill me. Payments are going to kill me big. But I got a 2020 Chevy Equinox all-wheel drive LT. Um, wasn't initially what I was looking for, but with certain things that happen, I end up spending 10 grand and more than I wanted to spend. So the payment's going to kill me, but I do have a set of wheels under me again. So now I've got something that's more trustworthy. I got to get back down to doing them investigations too. I got to get back down on that werewolf investigation. As soon as I can get some time off in between jobs, I'm going to be going down there soon. I've got that paranormal investigation I got to do at the Union Camp Cemetery too. So there is going to be some more videos coming up of my investigations now that I've got my body where I can move around a little bit better, and now I've got some wheels underneath me now too. I mean, it stuck there for the 2 or 3 weeks I was without a car when the engine locked up. Because I was on the verge of losing my job and losing my promotion. I'm like, oh crap, man, this ain't good. And something evil's been attacking me, man, and I ain't been liking it. So I'm glad you got things going for you. It's a struggle. I mean, I'll be living off of rice and beans for a while, but yeah, I'll getting my credit built back up, and once I get it to a certain point, I'm going to refinance and get a hell of a lot cheaper payment than what I'm paying. But I'm also paying extra on it to pay it off early too, plus my gap insurance. So my payment's not just a vehicle. I'm doing the car payment plus paying a little extra. Hey, Robin. Plus, I've got gap insurance. So I mean, all that adds up into that big payment that I'm paying. But I want to try to pay things off early. I think it's hitting a lot of people right now. I know it has hit us hard, but we helped little ones, so expected it. Yeah, I mean it's part of life. It sucked, huge stress, but I mean it is what it is. I haven't had this much bad crap happen in one time, and I don't know. I don't think I've ever had this much bad luck. Besides my ex-wife's cheating on me while I was deployed. That's probably the closest I've had to this much of bad luck. When we didn't have a pickup, I rode my bike even in winter. Didn't stop us from work. Yeah. Yeah, and I've rode my bike on ice before, and I don't want to ever do that again. I went down on ice on my bike. Oh my God, that was. I've been down on asphalt. I've been down on gravel, and I've been down on grass and ice. And ice was by far the absolute worst thing to go down on. Absolute worst time. Went down on asphalt once because my shifter tie rod was bent and I didn't realize it. And I was trying to get it going and it wasn't. And then all of a sudden it caught and it literally shot the bike out from under me. Went down on gravel because a dog grabbed my pant leg and dragged me and the bike down. Went down on grasses because, well, I was stupid. And then I went down on ice because I was trying to get to work and that was the only transportation I had. And then I went to take off and the bike came out from under me and the bike went sliding down the road. And I was only doing 10 miles an hour when it happened. Tyler says, unfortunately, it's very commonly in the military after deployments. Yeah. When deployments happen, divorce rate in the military went up 72% or 73%, went up 73%. I was part of that 73%. Both times. Because I was married and divorced once in the Marines and married and divorced once in the Army. Done 2 deployments in the Marines and 2 in the Army. Yeah, I was subject to that 73% twice. So yeah. I know how that goes, Don. When I mean, I don't know how many times I've rode somewhere and literally had to shake the ice off my body. Rode through tornadoes and crap like that, man. I've been trying to figure out how to apply for fuel stamp. I didn't know they still had fuel stamps. I didn't know that was still a thing. That's interesting. Yeah. When was that? Was during the Depression, wasn't it? Or no, that was during World War One or World War Two. I think it was all from the same era, basically. Yeah, I remember hearing about fuel stamps. What's sad is, when that last pandemic happened, a lot of people got to work from home, but my job requires me to be on the road. World War II, thanks, yeah. Yeah, they don't exist anymore. I didn't think so, but as soon as you said that, I remembered that. Yeah, World War II, that's right. I knew it happened around the Depression time, too. They had fuel stamps. You was only allowed so much at one time. I remember my mom's mom. Mom would tell me stories about her. The reason why her teeth were rotted out because they would give them fluoride tablets to fix their dental issues, and it rotted their teeth out. Don says, me and my wife went down Interstate 90 in Michigan sideways because a swan landed in the interstate and all the cars locked up their brakes and we came close to going down but kept it up. Oh, crap. Yeah. Oh, man. I hate when that shit happens. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, man. There's been a few times my ass end tried to kiss my front end while I was on the bike because of something in the road or usually it's because of something in the road, trying to hit the brakes, and then all of a sudden my ass end tries to kiss my front end. That's a brown pants oh shit moment going, yep, this is going to hurt. I kept her up. But that is definitely going one of those moments where you're going, yep, this is going to hurt. That's about all you can do. I wonder if I could fix that while I'm still alive. Hopefully, if this shuts me off, I'll be right back on. Get back to the chat here. Am I still going strong? Top of the hour. Cool. Give me a second. Let me try to fix this real quick. Okay, why ain't you working? Hello. See, so it's got to be the system because it had it on there for 10 seconds and it was up this whole time. Top of the hour. What I want to do today, let me take a look. Let's do a book commercial. Here we go.
From the mind of E.D. Testerman, a man from a distant time lives a normal life until one faithful day. He had a wife and kids. A creature from myth changes everything. The death of his family changes everything. Stricken with grief, he seeks death, only to have O'Dane the All-Father send him back. He must hunt the creatures that feed upon man. This is the saga of Man-Man, known to some as Grimson, but known to many more as the Traveler. This is the first book in the series. Saga of Grimson Book 1, The Beginning, can be found at Amazon under E.D. Testerman. Follow his author's fan page. Rate and comment on his books. I hope you enjoy them.
I'm going to take that down because I just realized there's some mistakes on that one. I haven't played that one in a while. I forgot about that. I want to delete that real quick because I'm going to have to redo that one. If you guys like science fiction, you like historical fictions, you like modern day cryptid horror or historical cryptid horror, then please go to my author's fan page on Amazon. That is the genres that I write in. You can find my books on Amazon. You can go to amazon.com/author/ED Testerman and follow my author's fan page. Comment, rate my books, help my books get out there to everyone. I love writing. I have a very hard time writing because of my dyslexia, but I still love it. I have programs that help me. I have people that help me. I played that one because that one ties into a book that I'm working on currently. I had to delete most of the chapter because I wrote myself in a spot and couldn't figure out how to get out of it. So I deleted that, and I've almost got that chapter completely rewritten. And I'm only going to say this one time. So the book is called Saga Grimson, Book 3, Revenge of the Wendigo. In Book 1, the book commercial we just saw, Saga Grimson, Book 1, the beginning, he faces that creature in that book. It's been a few hundred years since they have faced each other, and it's came back, and it wreaks havoc on the land. So Grimson once again has to face this foe from his past that he thought he imprisoned. There's a lot of stuff involved on that. I could probably pull up the book cover to that one because I have the book cover created. Let me get in there real quick and I'll pull that up so you guys can look at it. And it's one that I am currently working on. I was working on it today. Books, book covers. There it is. Meow. What do you want? What do you want, Blackie? Give me a minute. You're just gonna have to sit there for a minute. I'm kind of busy, baby. Give me a second and I'll pop this up as soon as it gets loaded up here. So this is the book cover to that book. And this book is solely book 3 is where book 2, Black Death is where you see the merging of him facing multiple creatures. To book 2, Saga Grimson Book 2, Black Death, where it starts out that way and focuses on one. This is the first book where it's focused on one entity only, and it's focused on this dude right here. And I love writing this stuff. I've wrote for years. I love writing. I've had things published before, but this is a new time to getting published on the level that I'm doing now. So if you like that stuff, please go to Amazon.com and find my books and get them. And please, and this is not just for me, this is for any other author that you have out there. Rate and comment on their books, please. That's what helps get them out there to other people. I've got several books I'm working on right now. Sometimes I'll get a writer block on one, so I'll switch to a different one. Being as I couldn't figure out, like I said earlier, how to get myself, written out of that position I was in. It was going to end the book way too early. I end up having to delete it and restarting over. And I'm just about done with that chapter. I've got like a page and a half left, and I'll be done with that chapter. So that would be for today's. I need to redo that commercial too, so I'm going to have to remember to do that one. So with that being said, well, you're the one that's constantly getting your claws stuck in my shirt because you're needing me. I'm not dough. You know that, right? You don't need to need on me. I'm not dough. The story of my life, folks, dealing with these animals. So yeah, it's kind of curious on that stuff. That there's another one that we get misidentified a lot of times, and a lot of people like to put that creature there in Bigfoot category, and it's not a Bigfoot. I'm sorry, folks. The big W is not a Bigfoot. It is 100% supernatural. It is not flesh and blood. That is not a flesh and blood entity. It possesses flesh and blood, but itself is not flesh and blood. That is 100% pure evil supernatural. That's another one like we was talking about earlier with a misidentification. It sounds good for clicks. It sounds good for getting subscribers, but it's a lie. It is not a Bigfoot, and it is not flesh and blood. If its host is unalived, it moves on to another host. It is not flesh and blood. There is theories on unaliving it, but I've found through them theories and through them reports, it was more of what I would classify as a lesser Big W, one that was made from the true. The true itself, I've not found any means of it where it can be unalived. What did I miss here? Who's coming home Monday? Ouch, your claws, daggone it. Yeah, whoever's coming home Monday, they're calling for severe storms, so be careful. Robin, my mother was born at the start of the Depression and was a young teen during World War II. She told me stories about how the family would raid the moonshiners and liberate sugar. Yeah, that stuff happened a lot. Fake news, love it. Yeah, that's why I was kind of wondering, William. That's why I was kind of cautious on that. Yeah, Robin. I've heard stories about that too. I've had run-ins with shiners growing up. Not always good. And sometimes it didn't end very good. Oh, talking to me, I won't be coming home till Wednesday. I leave tomorrow and we'll come back Wednesday evening. Yeah, my classes go Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I've got testing Tuesday and Wednesday. The class is on Monday. Testing is Tuesday and Wednesday, and I'll be coming back after my testing Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be gone most of the week. This one here is a long certification class. Green stamps and ration stamps, by the way. Yeah, they had stamps for everything. Water, fuel, food, just about everything you had to have a stamp for at one time. Yeah. Ursula says sometimes you get the deliverance result you find moonshiners. Yeah. I've had instances where it got out to what's a polite way of saying it on YouTube? Altering of physical appearances because of running into it. Yeah, that's happened a few times. Being out in the middle of the woods and running into a bunch of shiners. Most of the time, though, they're pretty cool about it, and we got some adult water, and end up being a good night. Yeah, got some white lightning. But there was times that physical alteration of appearances has taken place. Yeah. Ursa says the Pulp Fiction bent over the barrel in the back room, bawling out, "Squeal for me, squeal like a pig." Yeah. Yeah. Where it was places where I live at, Roxanne. Yep. You go to, you hear banjos, and you keep going till you stop hearing banjos, and you're getting pretty close to my house. Adult water, I never heard it said before. Yeah. I was trying to think how to say it kindly on YouTube. It's adult water. Remember the green stamp book? Yeah. And going to the Pacific stores you can earn to them from. I still have ration stamps from World War II. Yeah, I seen, I think it was great grandpa's ration book. He still had it, his green book. Will you quit putting your claws in me, honey? Jonas Side said, my dad was born in 1938. He ran shine as a teenager in the Carolinas in the 1950s. I told him he was born 10 years later. We grown the broccoli, as Eric says. Yeah. Oh, Gary. Hey, Gary, how's it going? Looking back over your shoulder, seeing a toothless grin, saying, I'm churning butter. I'm churning butter, boy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no kidding, man. Hey, Poker. Poker says, I'm a light drinker myself. I don't start drinking until it gets light outside. That's one thing I miss about being at biker rallies, man, and having my quarts of moonshine. I drink about 6 quarts a day. And by the end of the night, I'm feeling pretty good where I can sleep. I turned in a mini green stamp books. Yeah. Yeah, Gary, dude. I'm pretty sure it was my great grandpa's was the one I seen because I was knee high to a grasshopper's ass when I saw it. And I was like, Grandpa, what's this? And he goes, well, son, back in the day, we used to have this to get food and water and hygiene supplies. And he just kept going on. I was like, oh, wow. So I took it to show and tell one time in grade school when we were talking about the Depression in school. Don says, my mom used to buy some nice stuff with S&H green stamps. Yeah. Aaron says, okay, I think I am caught up on the comments now. Man, he coming around there in my neck of the woods. We're going to be churning some butter and making it go. Oh, yeah. Shiner camps generally, I'm a local, so it's a little bit more different to me than an outsider running into them camps. But even being a local, sometimes it wasn't good running into them camps. But I had a better advantage over most people because I was a local. So they knew me and they knew that I wasn't there to do anything to. I like some mustard on my biscuits. Mm-hmm. You sure do have a pretty mouth. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Kitty kisses 2 of them this time. Hell yeah. I'm growing in popularity. I got Blackie here just a purring and resting her eyes and watching the back of her eyelids, and as she's being held. She's spoiled. I got some ration stamps that belong to my grandma. My dad's side of the family. Oh, cool, Roger. I would love to see those, man. I love that stuff. I love history. Bobby says, "Good meeting you." Also, I'll work on that. Um, oops, bio tonight. Hell yeah, man. Gary says, "Had good sausage and gravy and biscuits in the morning." Oh, dude, I love homemade sausage, biscuits, and gravy. Oh, there's a amount of mine eating right there. I don't need mustard on my biscuits. I need some sausage gravy. A little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit of butter. William says, "Does anyone remember the suit guy coming into the elementary school to test children with those little white cards with the designs on them?" Man, I don't remember him being a white card, but I knew people came in and done testing. I vaguely remember being in a gate-like program. No kidding. Ursula says, I do the ink blotter and the guest cards behind the false wall. Yeah, I've had to do the ink blot test on a few occasions, especially when I went for top secret clearance. That was one of the things we had to do with the top secret clearance was our ink blot test. And you remember you can't say what you truly think you see because then you won't qualify for top secret clearance. You learn tricks of the trade. I've always tested though. They did it at the Catholic schools in the 60s. I'll send you a picture of the card, Eric, and message. Yeah, do that because I knew we had people that came to our school and tested us, but I don't remember it being a little white card. I remember it actually being sheets of paper. And then we would go and see somebody else that administered a different type of test. And I mean, I haven't had that since the 80s. That was back in the 80s, and I haven't done it since then. They treated me different though because I always struggled in school. Yeah, I did too. I was not. I don't do good in school. Stupid headphones. They said was chopper pilots. Tones in the headphones. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they did, didn't they? They did look like the old chopper pilot headphones. I forgot about that. God, yeah, I remember that. Bing, bing, bing. We got pink liquid after a lot. Supposed to taste like bubblegum. Oh, you talking about the that wasn't the mouthwash, was it? That was the vitamins or something like that they called. I'm trying to remember what they called that. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was like thick. It was pink and thick and was supposed to taste like bubblegum, but God, yeah, it did taste like bubblegum. It might have been fluoride. I remember we had special stuff we used because we had to do mouthwash every morning for 30 seconds. Ours was usually blue. All right, William, let me look it up. Ours was usually blue. Um, no, that's not it. Oops, crap, damn it. Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is going to jack on my chat for a little bit, but let me pop that up. I remember those. Oh, I forgot about those. Roxanne said, I was too good in school, but college I made A's and B's. Paying for it myself might have had something to do with it. Yeah. Ursula says, I'm sure it is. Yeah, it was an Amisec. Probably, I don't know, man. The tea thing was the red stain, read them. Now, mine was always blue. I told him you drank it first. The dude got pissy and I just got rude. but that all I remember about it makes my head hurt to try to remember. Muriel says, I did better in school, in high school and college, but elementary and middle school was hell for me. Yeah, I didn't do too good in high school. Struggled in college too. Had something else on my mind in high school. I just don't do good in school, man. I have a hard time concentrating and paying attention in school. It bores me. When I get bored, man, I can't think. It wasn't always the same dude, or maybe that's my brain changing his face. I don't know. Come on, hurry up, load up for me. We also had like a Plinko board. We had to try to make all the balls into the slot. I didn't have to do that. I barely made it out of high school because of math. But other than that, my grades were good. Yeah, I was busy doing other stuff in high school. I just get bored sitting in the room listening to somebody talk. I can always learn better when I'm doing it myself versus sitting in a room listening to people talk. This is what William was talking about. I remember that now. So if anybody was curious, this is what he was talking about. Yeah, I'd actually forgot about those. Number one use of fluoride before putting it in our water and toothpaste was rat poison. Yeah, fluoride is a byproduct. Tyler says some fox was running around a neighborhood looking for somebody to bite a few towns away from me. Holy crap. Mary says, yes, I remember those. Yeah. Roger said, always did good with homework, but I didn't do good on tests. Yeah, I struggle so hard on tests. I can know the stuff and I can do it. I can perform it, flawlessly. You tried to make me test on it and I become dumb. Yes, those we'd have to guess the cards behind the false wall. Yeah, I forgot all about that. When I seen that, I was like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot about those. Man, I haven't seen those since the 80s. Y'all not calling huh? I don't remember anything with paint. There we go. Yeah, they used to do a lot of weird. A lot of stuff I experienced was in the 80s. It was like towards the end of the 80s when I forgot all about because we just stopped doing it. Children for special abilities. Yeah. Wasn't that test part of the government program to see if people have insight? Yes. That's not what we were told. That's not what our parents were told. But yes, you are correct on that aspect. People don't believe it. But I can tell you right now, I do remember I was at Lake Contrary grade school in St. Joe, Missouri. Second grade, Lake Contrary in St. Joe, Missouri, when this happened. No. I was in Lindbergh in St. Joe, Missouri, third or fourth grade. And we had them old school desks, that you pop the top up, you kept your stuff in there and you could put it down. You had the rack under the seat and it was all one solid little desk. Remember those? And I remember I was sitting there messing with my pencil, and I was sitting there doing this, and them desks had an incline. I think it was something about similar to about like right that, somewhere around in there. And I remember having my pencil down on that little pencil holder in the bottom. You remember how it had that little metal deal at the bottom that held your pencil? Sometimes it was a routed out piece that your pencil set in. Sometimes it was bottom. Sometimes it was at the top. Mine was at the bottom. And I remember sitting there taking my hand like this over it. And this was back in the 80s. And eventually I got that pencil to rocking. And I got it to where I could move that pencil without touching it. And man, reason why I remember it because I impressed a girl doing it. I did do that in grade school one time. Was it MK Ultra? I don't know for sure. Hey, Aaron, take it easy, sweetie. Thank you for coming in. Let me get back up here to the comments here. Tell me why preschool daycare for older like after school needs armed guards. Yeah, no kidding. William says the pink drink was to make us forget. I can see that. Mira says I didn't do well on those tests. I got bored and would guess because I wanted it over with. Yeah, I did too, quite often, very very often. I just didn't like it, and I wanted it over too. So C was the most common answer, or I'd make designs, just whatever I felt like doing at the time. Yeah, they do. William says I answered every single one without seeing them. Hell yeah, I didn't. Ursula said we also went to Arlington Echo, which is a campground in the Maryland. We would go for 2 weeks a year, and we rarely remembered what we did while there. Interesting. Yeah. But I do remember being able to move my pencil just by waving my hands. It took me a long time, and I remember I had to drown everything out. I had to forget not pay attention to the teacher, the other students, or nothing. And that's when I found after a long time of trying to do this. I mean, most of the school year trying to do it. Once I was able to drown everything out and focus solely on moving that pencil, that's when I got it to move. I remember making sarcastic remarks on it too. Yeah, on the written in part, yeah. I was trying to think there for a second. Yeah, you're right. Excuse me. Mostly on the math test, yeah. But that was quite an eye opener when I haven't been able to do it since. I've been able to partially do it a few times, but I don't know what happened. It seemed like ever since I was able to do it that one time, I've not been able to really do it since. So I don't know. I don't know if it was just a luck that I got it to do it that one time. I don't know if something happened to me to cause me not to be able to do it anymore. I just remember doing it, and I impressed the hot girl in class because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to impress the hot girl in class, and and I succeeded. That part I remember, but I remember foggily. I remember trying to do it before and not being as successful about it. They couldn't take me because my witchy mom protected me, blanking the suit man's memory. Interesting. Roxanne says, have you done the game where 4 or more people, one laying down on concrete to make the body float with only the fingertips? Yep. You can do it while they're sitting in a chair too. Yep. Yeah, it doesn't have to be laying on concrete. They can be laying anywhere, and you can do it with them sitting down in the chair too. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Yep. Now, I have been able to do things like, and this is something that I haven't been able to do a whole lot on. I've done it before, mainly when I was extremely pissed off and fully concentrated on doing it. But I've made people do things I wanted them to do, and we usually make an ass out of them because they pissed me off bullying me. Project Grill Flames is at Foot Mead. They enlisted witches, warlocks, and anyone with occult experiences, especially conjuring. Interesting. No, I have done that. I have been able to make people do things like trip, fall out of their chair, write stupid stuff on the chalkboard. And even though it's been just a very, very, very few times. And it was when I was extremely pissed at them. I mean, I had to be very, very mad and angry and have a lot of hate and malice towards him when I was able to do it. And I remember the last time I did it, it actually kind of scared me. I've never tried to do it since. I was at Foot Me when a child took test. They were there to when MPs would come around. Never had MPs come around when I was doing mine. Isn't that remote influencing? I don't know enough about it, Mario. I don't know. I know my family has abilities, and that's how I found out a lot of stuff in my family was after I did something, and I was trying to figure out how I did it, and that's when I learned that my family had ways of reading people's minds without them knowing. I remember one side of my family was into dark magic. Um, when I started learning certain things and realizing what that was tied to, I wanted no part of it. Now, I was never taught to do this stuff. It was just, I was able to project my energy on the pencil. And by concentrating my energy towards that pencil, I was able to make that pencil move. Now, the other stuff is me putting in their head is, you're going to trip and make it a fool out of yourself, or you're going to fall and make a fool out of yourself, or you're going to write something wrong on a chalkboard and get in trouble by a teacher. These were my thoughts in my head when I was doing this type of stuff. And it was later on I found out what the Smith side of my family was into, and I was like, nope, I'm not taking part of that. Roxanne says, in my life, when very angry at times, my anger will make something fall off a shelf in the same room I got angry in. I would blank out. That's the Marine Corps was the greatest thing to ever happen to me. I could not control my anger. I would get angry and I'd black out, and that anger would not subside unless somebody was extremely bloody by the time I was done. The Marine Corps helped me to channel that. Now I can use it. I know what I'm doing. I don't black out, and I can control it. Before I went into the Marine Corps, I was like a whirlwind. You couldn't control it. They started it because of the Cold War and the space race. My first test was in 1972 and 1973. Interesting. That actually makes a lot of sense, William. But yes, I have been able to do that stuff in the past. Like I can still, if I'm very emotionally connected to somebody, I know when something's wrong, or I'll know when they need to contact me. I know when, I still have those abilities. I can still see what people's true intentions are. And that came helpful when hunting drug cartels and people like that. You can always tell when somebody's lying. And I had the ability to know either lying, or I had the ability to see. It's not really, I couldn't physically see what they were seeing, but in my mind, I can see what they were seeing. And that was able to help me to find things. Telekinesis is, if you ever seen the Institute by Stephen King, anger made their powers more intense. Yes. Anger and water. Yes. At Fort Meade, when the MPs would come around, they would take us smaller kids into a building. I remember being in there with several others. We'd have to lay down and focus on an image and what they tell you. That sounds something very similar, very familiar, I should say. I've pushed people away from me without touching them. Yeah. Yep. One, she was circling me like a shark and came at me again. I pushed enough to push her across the room. I've been able to move things that you physically should not be able to move. I've been able to do that when I've gotten pissed. We had a 2,000-pound water blivet who was trying to load up in a Connex, getting ready to go to Iraq, and these younger army cats weren't helping, and I got mad. Pardon me, I almost cussed there. I got pissed, and I sat down and I physically moved that myself. And the other guys were like, they were freaking out. I was like, how did you do that? And why are you doing that? You're hurt. You're not supposed to be doing that type of stuff. And I was still pissed when that happened, that I was going off on them and talk about how lazy they are and how worthless they are. I mean, my anger fuels that in me. And that's why I always try to keep my anger in check, because bad things happen when my anger rises. Ursa says, I was afraid of the men from the sky coming to take me again, especially when we'd be there for the 4th of July. Interesting. Bounty says, I probably shouldn't talk about that. If you want to talk about it. If you're not, I get it. I know what you're talking about. I've been able to hit somebody and not even use full force, but the energy from my hit was able to push them away further than it should have. Just from my anger, or the energy coming off me when I was angry. That's why I try to control my anger, folks. Honestly, I don't know if it's because of what my family's done in the past. I don't know what that stems from. I can't tell you. There's several theories out there. I can't tell you. I just know when my anger rises, nothing good ever happens, and weird shit does happen. When I got past my anger to a point that I'm very quiet and calm and don't even see the person and angry that I'm angry at, that's when they know I'm past that and they see my eye color turn black. I've heard that. Yeah. No, the Marine Corps was truly, truly a blessing for me. Because it did help me to hone it. It did help me to control it. It did help me to learn how to project it in the direction that it needs to be projected, if that makes sense to you guys. I don't like looking up at the sky. I feel like I'm going to float out and have a fear of being drawn into the sky. Oh, that sucks, dude. I love looking at the sky. That's why I just don't like getting upset or pissed. I don't like confrontation. Why be rude? That's also why I avoid so many arguing these days. I can't be around it. I get upset. Yes, I do not do well in cities and towns because of all the negativity. I don't know what it is. My body absorbs that, and then I end up projecting that. That's why I love being out where I'm at. If there is a lot of anger, a lot of negativity, that funnels through me big time. That's why when I'm in them situations, I try to get out as quick as possible. I used to be like that, Eric. Martial arts to redirect it. Yes. Don, yeah. And that's what the Marine Corps did. It taught me how to do it. Absolutely. I remember floating off my bed nightly and hitting the ceiling with my body. I've had dreams of me doing that, but I can't tell you 100% that was me. I think it could be dreams. I don't know. Hearing what people talk about, hearing your encounters makes me start questioning that. I always chalk that up to growing up as being that was a dream. When I was younger and pre-pandemic, I didn't mind big cities. I can't. I have never done well in big cities or towns. And the bigger it is, the more the population, the worse I was. I don't know why it is, but the best way I can describe it's like it funnels through me and brings out a side of me that I try to keep caged up. Exercise, lifting weights helps me. It does me. I get so mad. I don't know why. I don't know why working out. I get mad. Yeah, and then I just start pumping it. And I mean, it's like when I blacked out. I used to call it my. I would call it either I'd turn into um, Mr. Hyde or I turn into the Hulk. I mean, I just completely transformed into somebody different. If I get into lifting weights too much, I do the same thing. I don't know if it's because of, I don't know what it is. I don't know why. If I could do it at moderations, it's not bad. But if I go all out and I try to just max out everything I can, I get angry. I don't know if that's because that's what I'm used to doing in situations like that, getting angry to be able to do that stuff. I'm guessing that would be it. When I astral, sometimes I'll hit something for the bell or for the hell of it. And I always wake up sore in a specific area. Oh, damn. William says, even today, when I wake up in the morning, it looks like I was dropped from a height, making everything completely off mattress and all. Damn. I still do my katas when I get angry. Oh. Testosterone probably. It's probably it, Muriel. I mean, honestly, it could be that. I don't know. I just know every time I've gotten angry, I would be stronger and I was able to do things that I couldn't do when I was not angry. Like somebody could whoop my ass from sun up to sundown when I wasn't angry. And then when I get angry, they couldn't even touch me. Hey, Crank. That's why I always called it my transformation. That's what when you hear me refer to caging the beast, that is a part of me that I'm talking about. That literally is me being a beast, and I want to keep it caged. So that I'm blessed that the Marine Corps taught me how to do that. So now when I get angry, as long as I'm not flooded with it, I can control it. I can control it a hell of a lot better than what I did before I went into the Corps. Yes, I'm like a sponge. Vegas is full of blah. Yeah. That's also why I disappear. Go to my den. I'm taking a breather from feeling everything. Yeah, that's why you'll see me be away from the internet for so long. Is I get too consumed by it, and I've got to decompress. I got to get away from it. Some people are addicted to the adrenaline from anger. Yes, they are. Crank says, my wife says I need a cage that beast in my pants. You're one of the lucky ones, man. Yeah. Bounty says, also why I laugh and dance. I also have spent my whole life controlling my emotions and responses. You have to. And that's something that, William and I has talked about many times. You have to learn how to control that stuff. Hey, real quick, Roxanne, I didn't check. Does DA have a show today? Because I know we had a late start with my internet acting up. Also, why I laugh and dance. Also have spent my whole life controlling my emotions and responses. Yes. I cuss like a sailor when I'm angry, but if I cry, look out. I cuss like a sailor even if I'm not angry. Same, I got Facebook back a few months ago and regretting it because it's all or nothing. I've had to learn how to control myself on that stuff. That's why you don't see me on very often. No Saturday shores for a while. Okay, I wouldn't know if he's still in that state of mind or not. So thanks, because I usually try to check to make sure. I knew he was going to do it for a little while, get some writing done, but I thought this was around about the time frame when he was going to start kicking it back up. I have no filter. If you're offended, that's your problem. Yeah. I'm a little bit more nicer than when I used to be, but I used to be that way. But at the same time, you get me to a certain point in mood, yeah, I don't have a filter no more. I'm no longer trying to be nice. If I hurt your feelers, it is what it is. Also Gen X, yeah. Yeah. No, and that's the thing is people don't realize, me and William has talked about this many times. Your emotions affect your outwardly appearance, your outwardly abilities, and affects those around you. Your emotions also will have effect when you're out looking for paranormal, when you're out looking for supernatural or cryptids. Your inner being, whatever's projecting out, also influences that type of stuff as well. My wife makes me cry after checking my credit card bill. God, yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah, I know that feeling too well. I'm the old Gen X, 1965, April. We're both Aries children, William. Yep. Of course, I'm a 79 April guy. But hey, Arlen. Oh man, I thought I seen you in earlier. Oh no, that was a Muriel. Hey, Arlen. Or so we were trained different than people nowadays. Our mental stability is higher. Yes. Muriel says, I've been so high alert, hyper, full of anxious energy lately. Can't sleep and having stomach issues. That seems to be a thing that's going around. Crank, you're an Aries too. Hell yeah! Welcome to the Aries Club. Gods of War. My moon is in Aries, but I'm in Libra. I have no clue where my moon is. I just know I'm an Aries. That's all I know. I have no, I'll be honest with you, I don't know enough about that stuff. I just know me because, well, I'm an Aries. My birthstone's a diamond. That's about my extent of it. You're as old as my brother. He was in June of 1965. Oh, yeah. Scorpion? Oh, that explains a lot. Also a 72 model. Hell yeah. Plato is in the retrograde until October. What does that mean? Curiosity. Like I said, I don't pay attention to that stuff, so I don't know. But yeah, it's I'm crabby. I have pinchers too. You better believe it. So that's why we always tell you, like it is the reason why I'm so successful on paranormal hunts and cryptid, getting cryptid encounters. Is it because of the way my energy is projected from me? I've learned how to calm it. I believe so. That's my personal opinion. I can't tell you for 100% fact that that's true. But there's too many things in ancient text that talks about how you project yourself is how life forms will perceive you. Okay. So I believe that it plays a very, very big part of it. And that's why I'm very big on it. Very, very big on it because of that right there. There's too many things in ancient text and in modern experiences that suggest that if you're more positive, you're going to not only have encounters, but you'll have better encounters. If you're negative or you got a darkness to you, sometimes that doesn't end very well for you. A crab grab someone's sensitive skin and you'll have a new understanding for them. I believe giants are real. I do too, Crank. I 100% do. Yeah. William says, I don't have a moon. That's what we say when a woman's in the time. Yeah. But crabby cat. Oh, geez, buddy. Nephilim, yeah. That's the Nephilim is the Jewish word for giant. Yeah. They're giants. It just depends on what culture you come from. Like my Nordic background, we called them Jotuns. It really depends on what background is what you call giants. For the Jews, they called giants Nephilim. That was the Jewish word for giants, Nephilim. 66 next week. Holy crap. Happy early birthday, bro. There are 7 giants they know of in the wall face in Ireland where the door opened last year. I haven't heard about that. I don't have a time of the month anymore. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hey, Firewater. How's it going, sweetie? He decided he needed to be in my lap, so I'll figure out later. Loki is part Jotun, or is a Jotun. Yes, Amariel. Yes. Loki is a frost giant. He is a runt of a frost giant, but he is a frost giant from the Loki clan. So, yes, Loki is a Jotun. There's different types of Jotuns. Loki is of the frost Jotuns. Man, my camera is just jacking up today. Scorpions had the poison dagger. Yep. I think Bigfoot is multi-dimensional. Some people do, Crank. I specifically don't, but I see where some people can believe that. I personally, I don't think they are, but I could be 100% wrong too. I mean, I absolutely could be 100% wrong. I've just not seen anything that would make me believe they're interdimensional. I had just been getting into Norse mythology and runes lately. Runes are very important. The correct runes can protect you. Love will run away and hide. Menopause stages is the devil. It's the devil. Yeah, there is. So in Nordic mythology, it's not just Norse. Okay, that's a very big misunderstanding. Nordic is a type of Germanic. So your Norse, your Swedes, your Finlands, your Danes, and all of them were Germanic tribes. They're of the Germanic culture, and that's where they believe that the Aesir and the Volnir come in, because the Volnir were earthly gods and were one of the first gods that were worshipped. And then you had the Nordic way come in, which is where the Aesir come in. So they believe by the Great War that they talked about, whenever they created humanity after the Great War, that was the emergence of the Aesir and the Volnir. Is because of the old gods versus the new gods, and that's where that comes in. But where the Aesir are part Jotun, the Volnir were all gods of elements, of plants, of life. Hey, I think I'm in Puri, so I could give it back. I would just the sweating alone. Hey, I think I'm in Perry, so if I could give it back, I would. Just sweating alone. Kind of a little confused on that, Aaron. They really want war. They really want war. They messed up the chocolate. Oh God. They gave the Romans hell. Yeah, they did. It sucks for us. Let's see. I have German and Finnish DNA. More German than Finnish. Yep. Question, Eric. If Loki is a frost giant, why is he a god of fire besides mischief? So Loki was Auntie. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I get it now. Jotun was saved by Loki was saved by Odin and therefore was protected and was giving a god status. He is not a true god. He is not an Aesir. He's not a Volnir. He's a Jotun. But because he was cast out by his tribe, by his clan, Odin rescued him and then gave him sanctuary and gave him god status. So Loki can manipulate cold, and Loki is also a trickster. And that's the funny thing about Loki. People don't understand. Loki is not a true god. He was given god status by Odin. My birth rune is the Kinza, and some say that is Loki's rune, but I also heard it is Freya's. I don't know on that one, Amario. I'll be honest with you. I don't, because I don't follow that. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But Loki is a shapeshifter. I don't know where the fire came from. Loki can shapeshift. Loki is an illusionist. He can change illusions, make illusions. He's also a trickster. That's Loki. Yeah, I have to look up on the run side of it. I've never heard that before, Mario, but doesn't mean it's not true. I may have either A, forgot it, or B, have not seen it. Not good, Firewater. They are preparing. Well, what did I miss on Firewater? Scroll up here. There is something going on in Oregon. The airspace overhead has been cleared for 2 days and nothing but military jets overhead. About 50 to 20 today alone. Interesting. Very interesting. And then till he felt he was safe, he would come. Oh, man, it's starting to get hot in here. I may have to turn the fan on real quick. Yeah, I've got about 3 minutes. We're good. They are extremely. Yeah, so I mean that's a very common misunderstanding about Loki. Loki the people think that Loki is an actual god. He's not. He was given god status. He is a shapeshifting trickster. He's a Jotun. But he is from the Jotun clan. If you follow the history of the Jotun clans, they are. Let's just okay. Go get them. Okay, you guys are disturbing the show. Go get them. Sorry, guys. My youngest just walked up. He is a frost giant, though. He is a runt of a frost giant. Yeah, I'm having fun. I'm having my menopause now. I saw about Israel's true and just covered up. I don't know. I'd give it a few days before really considering anything on it. Start getting couples massages would benefit your neck wordless. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know where the fire plays into Loki, because Loki's never been associated with fire. He's always been associated with illusion and trickster and shapeshifting. Eric, are you in the way of the super sale coming in tomorrow on Monday? I don't know. I'm leaving tomorrow for Jeff City, so I don't know if it's going to be up there, but my home, I think, is. So I'm not 100% sure on that. 9, Stopa. You guys are being loud. So I think the home is. Hey, now I said enough. Oh God, give me a minute. I'll drive it. I don't want it tore up. It's brand new. I don't want it tore up. I'm almost done. Go through PMS. Yeah, we do. It's called parked motorcycle syndrome and menopause. That's when they want to young again. Yeah. Yeah, we got their PMS. It's called Park Motorcycle Syndrome. Yeah, I think my home is Firewater. But I don't know about Jeff City. So we are getting on that 2-hour mark. I want to thank everybody for coming in and what people sharing the encounters that they had to share. So I appreciate that very much. The topics we talked about today, all of them are great. I loved it.
I still got to get stuff in there, so you're good for some minutes.
Okay. I wanted to thank my new subscribers for joining the Bizarre and the Unknown Universe. Thank you so much. I'm so thankful for my new subscribers from OGs. You guys are awesome. Like I said, tomorrow I don't know if I'll be able to do a show. It mainly probably be something very similar to this, only because I'll have my laptop and not my computer because I'll be in a hotel. Men's menopause exists, but it's different. Yeah. Okay. I was trying to make sure I didn't miss no comments there. I'm trying to help you. So we'll see how that goes. If I can get it going on my laptop at the hotel, I'll have it. If not, then there won't be a show because I'll be out of town. I will try to have Chapter 7 done soon, Book 3 of Saga Grimson. So if you're one of my Ihin-Yar readers, I'll let you know when it's coming out. Shout out to everybody out there that's, has birthdays or anniversaries or whatever it is. You guys are great. We appreciate every single one of you guys. You guys are awesome. Shout out to my moderators, Roxanne and William in the chat today. I'm very thankful for them. They help this show to keep going. And I appreciate them very much. So until either tomorrow or next week, everybody, peace, love, and blessings to you all. And I hope you guys' week is very blessed. I project and I wish blessings upon each and every one of you. So until next time, folks, I'll see you later. Goodbye.
Shadows where whispers hum. The air is thick where the strange things come. Behind the curtain where the fearless go. Welcome to the bizarre and the unknown. Dare to tread where the darkness hides. Your pulse will race, your breath will freeze in this realm of uncanny mysteries. Dare to tread where the darkness hides. Through the cracks of the world's thin sides. Join if you will take the dare. Where we learn of things that scare. The bizarre wears a wicked grin. Its world pulls you slowly in. you're here, you'll never roam.